is the Pizza and Hummus Podcast.
So why would you listen to the Pizza and Hummus Podcast?
Am I right, bada bing?
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
I laughed way too hard at that. That's the worst thing ever.
And welcome back to the Pizza and Hummus Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
This is Richie with always Vince.
Yep.
And we got a couple special guests tonight. We've got, it's tonight. It's in the afternoon.
It is
This
tonight.
is
Usually we do it
rare.
in the morning.
Yeah. We still had coffee because who cares?
Yeah.
We have Matthew Zerilli and Ben Macks, who you may also know as Thad Ranger.
Purebred American Thad Ranger.
A real.
Dude, they got to do the full title. Purebred American.
Full name.
Thad Ranger. Is Thad Ranger then the middle? Thad the middle name, and then
Sure.
Purebred American.
His full name's Thaddeus Danger Ranger.
Thaddeus Danger Ranger.
Yeah, Junior.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. He was real proud of that.
Junior
one.
the second.
Junior.
the
Twice removed.
Yeah.
Esquire.
So let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So are you guys from, Rich was saying, all the way from Traverse City? Or how is...
Yeah.
I'm actually from Charlevoix, which is even farther.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Than
Okay.
Traverse.
And I grew up in the UP, up in the Upper Peninsula, which is even further north than
Far
that.
north as you can go.
Yeah.
Now we're in the UP.
Manistee, which is
Manistee.
South Central UP.
Did your hand just go up just a little bit to make it? All right.
Central
Yeah.
UP. I lived in Marquette for a while. It is.
Yeah.
It's an experience up there. One of the things I always enjoyed is when I moved to Traverse City. We used to talk about going downstate because we're above the bridge in the UP.
Mm-hmm.
And I moved to Traverse City, and everybody would be like, "Oh, we have to go downstate." I'm like, "We're here. We did it.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations."
Yeah, we're done.
Wow.
We've done it.
Can you believe where we started and where we're at?
We've come a long
Yeah.
way.
They just got cassette tapes up in the UP.
A whole
think-
cassette.
Yeah.
It's true, man. It's a weird place. It's a backwoods place up there. You ever been up there?
Yes, I've been there,
Yeah.
but I hear that there's a hobby up north called snowshoeing.
Oh, it's a real
Yes.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that literally putting tennis rackets on your shoes?
Yeah,
and just going
More-
for a
Yes.
walk?
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's pretty
you
much
put
it.
tennis rackets on and you walk in the woods.
I love it.
Yeah, there's a world famous place up in the UP that makes like
Not a lot of options.
Yeah, it's a
Not a lot of options. Yeah.
drink.
Snowshoe.
Yes.
Snowshoe and
Yeah.
drink.
Have questionable social
Drink
values.
and snowshoe.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I work in advertising, so we had to do a video shoot and stuff, and we had to do a video shoot to promote Munising.
Oh
in
yeah,
the UP, yeah.
yeah.
And we had to go in February to show all the snow stuff. It was an average of -5.
Yeah.
And I'm not exaggerating.
That's real. That's right on Lake
Yeah,
Superior.
that's really.
It's insane.
And the people there, no hats, no gloves. They were
Yeah.
just like, yeah, it's just fall time here. I'm like, what?
Yeah, no way. Yeah,
No way, huh?
Yeah, no way.
No way, huh?
How you doing, downstater?
A
Oh,
little
Yeah.
chilly out.
Just a little breezy.
Well, brisk out here.
Don't
And-
forget to wear your jacket today, okay?
Yeah, might get an ammonia. And no, we did the snowshoe thing. We did snowmobiles, all that stuff. It was gorgeous up there, though.
It is a pretty place. Munising's a pretty place. All along Superior there is nice. It's like 40 minutes from Marquette. And it was, what's his name? Jeff Daniels did Escanaba in the Moonlight
Escanaba
a
in
few
the
years
Moonlight.
ago.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody up there I was living up there at the time. I grew up there. And everybody got upset. He's like, oh, they made Yoopers look really dumb. And I was like,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, he
spot on.
didn't like stretch. It wasn't a
wasn't good
stretch.
too.
Yeah.
Turn the volume up.
He turned the volume up a little bit.
Yeah.
I
Is-
think
yeah.
I think it would just be hard. I don't discredit Yoopers at all as far as intelligence, but I think it's just hard to like divulge like brand new scientific information with that accent. You know what I mean? Where you're just like,
yeah.
okay, now
Yeah.
we got if we split an atom.
Okay, here we go.
My nephew's name is Adam.
Is that a
fellas,
mossy oak camo lab jacket you're wearing right now?
Yeah, sure is. We landed on the Mars the other day, guys.
Me and Roy.
Breaking some ground. How's your family?
Still making time to talk about that.
It's
dude.
just a slow.
It is.
Yeah, it's not that it's dumb. It's just they're moving
Different speed, man.
They're idling a little lower than everybody.
Yeah, and you
else.
see,
It's just a
it's just
different speed.
there's a romance to it. I like going back up there. I like being from there. There's something special about like you just see stuff up there you don't see anywhere else. It's got like a rugged individualist.
Yeah.
like it's just different.
Yeah.
It's my wife
love
actually grew up in Alaska.
Oh wow.
And she says
And
that
you two met somehow. That's insane.
Yeah, we met down in Traverse City.
I think they were hunting narwhals.
Yeah.
And when they were hunting narwhals, they both met, and they're like,
It was the 3rd season of Dangerous Catch.
Our harpoons crossed.
Her deadliest catch.
That's your harpoon. You take it. You take it.
Clean it up, Max. Come on. So we she would explain to me that the I've never been to Alaska, but she said the UP is a lot like Alaska. Like it's just like northern Maine, and like there's these rugged kind of.
I can imagine that.
Yeah, which is cool.
Slower pace.
It's a great place for comedy.
yeah, I feel like coming from Alaska, even from the UP, she looks at you like, "Psst, what is this, weak country? Like, what's going on?
Right?
Yeah, it's funny because I would always say, "Oh man, I would have loved to have grown up in Alaska because it's crazy." And she's like, "Yeah, not as a boy, but she was like a 13-year-old girl in Alaska." She's
Yeah.
like,
The whole time.
yeah, the whole
The
time.
whole time.
Yeah, the time is different. They have longer days up
It's
there.
that's the
The sun.
daylight thing.
No Snapchat." It was kind of funny because we had a family reunion or something like that, and on my mom's side there was a bunch of people that were from the UP, and it showed them like pictures of them in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what they're wearing, I'm like, this is what is in Urban Outfitters right now,
Ironically.
on sale.
Yeah,
But they're wearing it ironically.
Yeah.
These people are wearing it like, no, you
Yeah, dude, it's
you
just-
need a good flannel, you need the beanie, a beard, and giant glasses.
Totally, dude.
Practicality.
Totally.
Yeah.
Fashion.
They were onto something. That's all I'm saying. They were onto something.
Ahead of the curve up there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, where? You guys from down here? You guys are both from
Yeah,
down
from
here?
right
Yeah.
around here.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I live in Royal Oak now, but yeah, my parents are
Okay.
right around here. Yeah.
Royal Oak's a cool spot.
Yeah.
I was saying before we got on the air, my dad's side is all from East Side, so like Harperwood, St. Clair Shores.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Nice.
that's where
yeah.
all the Italians,
Oh, yeah, all of them.
all the Italians.
That's what they all are.
Oh, dude,
It's safer we keep them together.
yeah. Going to family reunions is like going to a casting call for Goodfellas. It's interesting. A lot of gold chains and not a lot of necks. Ironically. Like, oh,
Hey,
A lot of that.
I love it. Yeah,
That's funny. That's funny.
Write that down.
Write that
That's a winner.
down.
That's a winner
gold
chicken
chains, not a
dinner.
lot of necks.
As gold chains go up, necks go down.
It is a negative correlation.
Yeah.
They're just saying to UP, oh, it's a negative correlation there.
Okay. Yeah. NASA's stopping by. Well, God bless him.
The old NASA.
So you have your character,
Yeah.
Thad Range.
Thad Ranger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did
Wait a
that?
minute,
I mean,
that's a character? Wait.
wait.
So
in the
before
trunk.
we get into this, me and Richie, when they were like, "Yeah, you guys are coming on the podcast," I was like, "Is he gonna stay as Thad Ranger? Like how? Like it's gonna be different questions. Like
Yeah.
if you're not Thad Ranger, I'm like, okay, I can talk about Thad Ranger. If
Yeah.
you are Thad Ranger, I'm like, so you found out that the Earth is kind of round and kind of flat.
Little round, little flat.
Yeah.
Little
I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't know. We did a video a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It was kind of an immigration spoof thing.
Which isn't in the news anymore, so I don't know.
Not really topical.
It was topical
Not
at
really
the time.
top- not really
Yeah.
topical
Really
now.
faded off.
Really,
Yeah.
You know, they say
hardly-
history repeats itself.
Nobody
I don't think it
talks about
does.
You
that
hardly
anymore.
hear anything about that.
Yeah.
So weird.
But so I did that character, and then I just enjoyed doing it, so I started doing it more, and then it kind of caught on a little bit. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm pretty as far as comedy. I think I'm pretty passionate about trying to keep a level of goofiness.
Yeah.
In comedy, and not everything needs to be so serious. So
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that comes from.
It's always interesting because when you perform, that's a character as well.
Mm-hmm.
And
Wait. No, I'm just kidding.
wait, I'm just like, wait, that is a character. Now, did you specifically? That's interesting as far as doing stand up in a character. Is that something you played around with, where you kind of started like, because Matt, yours is it's kind of you.
It's pretty straight.
It's pretty
yeah,
you.
it's pretty much
Did you
my voice. But
yeah.
we always say that it's cranked up a little bit. The energy's cranked up a little bit. It's a little bigger and dumber. It's a little more like golden retriever-y when I like.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah.
that's a
So
good-
we've made this analogy a lot of times. I think a lot of times when Ben cranks his personality down a little bit, I think almost. Would you say?
I don't know.
Or like,
I don't know. I came about the stand-up stuff. I guess that just kind of developed.
Yeah.
From just stage time, I guess. And I don't really know how to explain as much. It's just kind of what happens.
You kind of leaned into it as it started to be more successful as far as laughs.
I guess in that I'm not. the most naturally social person.
Right.
So maybe that plays into it, some of the nerves and some. So
Yeah.
it just kind of happened, and then I don't know. I think and you guys could probably speak to it too, but I think that's kind of where. Excuse me.
No, you can talk close to it. You're good. You're good. Sometimes you cheer better.
There you go.
Yeah.
Say it.
That's kind of where the writing.
Slower and more breathy is working better for me.
NPR, more NPR.
Yes. The murder that you shouldn't care about.
ASMR.
We found out.
But I don't know. Sometimes you're writing. For me, I guess the writing kind of took me in that direction. I don't know. That's just kind of how it all came together.
Yeah. Well, in a way, that's like you said, it's a little exaggerated to what you are. I feel like that's inspiring from the, I guess, driving your material from your socially awkward feeling is you turned that part up a notch.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. And I think it's just I don't know. I think and we're all probably influenced by people we grow up around and and that kind of.
Ben's one of those dudes. I say this all the time. It drives me nuts. He's one of those dudes that gets laughs for like hand gestures sometimes. There'll be like silence.
Yeah, I passed the guy the other day and I gave him a hand gesture. And
it is pretty wild.
He didn't laugh that time. But he was very upset.
He was not happy.
He wasn't.
No, man. The Thad Ranger thing's been great though. I mean, there was a period of time. Boy, this was last summer I think when it really took off.
Yeah.
Where it got crazy.
Yeah, it got kind of nuts. That one video kind of got a lot of attention, and that's where I really that was the pinnacle of its success or whatever. But it's afforded me. It's kind of neat too from a creative standpoint, I guess too, to be able to. It's almost been a good release because if you get bogged down writing stand up, that's allowed me a different
channel
avenue, a different mind channel to go into and just be an idiot, just be a goofball.
The beautiful, I don't give too much away. I guess we can cut it later, but it's satire, right? It's the satire piece of it is great.
Satire.
Yeah.
And it's like I still say all the time, there's satire when it's done really well is some of the cleanest, best. Like I can get a bit like The Onion. An Onion headline still gives me like the purest, cleanest laugh out loud moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of those headlines are so right on. Like there was one about Jeff Sessions. A despondent Jeff Sessions decides to kill himself by smoking too much weed or smoking weed. Just tries to, and it's like some of those are just so beautiful.
The headline itself, it's it. And
That's
I'm done.
it.
I don't need to read anything else.
And it's like the beauty of it, and this has happened with Thad quite a bit, is when people don't get, but people think you're a real guy.
Yeah, people. There was a lot. I was.
They get mad about it.
I just imagine seeing
dude.
you in that character
Yeah.
just being like,
Oh no! Pull
the car
Look at it, or they'll share with something and be like, "Look at this guy."
Like, should he have a light? Like, I was. That was surprising how much feedback I had that where people thought it was like I still to this day get messages on Facebook or whatever addressing him like they're talking to a to a dude and I'm like
who doesn't exist.
I know. Yeah, it's the best.
Or on the flip side, people will comment on a video, think they think they've like cracked a mystery. Or they found the Holy Grail or something. They go, "This is fake."
They just
yeah,
it is. They're at their apartment with a bunch of newspaper with your face on it, like yarn connected. Be like, wait a minute, Batman is Bruce. All right.
I think it's pretty
Macks.
safe. I think it's pretty safe to say that like you can figure out that Thad Ranger isn't real because there's no way a real Thad Ranger would know even how to use Facebook or a camera.
Oh, dude. But that's the best.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no way he would be like, "Hello, Facebook's." Like, there's no way he'd be like, "What do I do?"
He was the top of his class.
the top of his
I just love the idea of this guy having his own channel. Like it's just the best. I don't know. It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, and every now and then you get that. Like people will share it, like and be like, "Oh, they just don't." You know what I mean? It's like that's the joke to me.
At first, I gotta believe it. I went okay. I've never been overly successful in the dating game.
Okay.
Or with the ladies.
Right.
I'm married now, so I've been out of it. So I was successful to a point, I guess.
You had a success.
I had one success, a singular success. So I've never been like sought after by the other one of the other sexes. I don't even know how to.
We have a diagram.
Anyway,
so there's birds and there's bees.
So here's me.
anyway, so I went out of my way to be unattractive as Thad Ranger.
Yeah, this is interesting.
And I couldn't tell you how many messages I get from females that want to
Get a piece of the Thad.
Get a piece of
Get
piece
coffee.
Of Thad.
Yeah, want me to get away from
Yeah,
them?
I get a lot.
They
of,
love Thad. The ladies
it's
love
weird.
Thad. Can
I
we
don't
just
under-
admit it?
I don't
The ladies
understand.
love Thad.
Ladies love that.
So I've
Hashtag
been
ladies
going
love
about it all wrong for
Yeah.
35 years. But
What is it about Thad, do you think?
Yeah, that's what we have to dissect.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't-
He's a
it's-
gentleman. He is a gentleman.
I'm pretty sure it's the blue jean shirt.
The
Shirt,
denim- I mean,
that-
sensible
yeah,
dresser,
yeah,
practical
denim-
dresser.
He knows who he is.
The denim Wrangler. Some things
Yeah.
don't go out of style.
He's a dancer.
He's a dancer. I think there's an innocence to him.
That's it.
There's a safeness to him. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
If
Is
we get
there?
snowed
I don't
in.
know. Yeah.
Yeah. He knows how to start a
He
fire.
knows
Right.
how, yeah, right. Yeah, he can hot
It's
wire
that big
car.
dumb animal. Yeah. He looks warm,
Yeah.
Yeah.
cuddly and warm.
There you go.
Cuddly and warm. But every time I get and I don't know how to. Sometimes I don't know how to navigate some of these messages. So the go-to for me was always I get it became kind of regular for a lady to message Thad and say, are you married or are you dating anybody?
And Ben's
Are you
wife
in a
loves
relationship? And I would say I'm in a very I got like a one answer I always send back. I say I'm in a very committed relationship.
But where are
with
you?
her, and then I send them a picture of the Statue of Liberty. And I found that to be the best way to go because that usually
Oh my god.
like okay, this guy, all right. Like,
That
usually
is
just
what
kinda
he would respond
yeah,
to.
you know,
that.
Some of
it's
Thad's
kinda like
responses are great.
kinda
What was the
shit
what was
shuts
the one?
it down.
You had another great one too. I remember.
I don't
Somebody
know.
asked what year you were born.
I always thought Thad was born on July 4th, 1976.
1976.
200-year birthday of
At the bicentennial.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, his mom was 13 months pregnant because she held on
Her mom's a trooper.
until July 4th.
She's not a quitter. She's
No,
an American.
she's an American.
We haven't unveiled Thad's parents yet. There's a whole bit. There's a
Yeah,
whole.
I don't
There's a whole thing.
Yeah, Thad Senior.
Is that coming?
Oh,
Thaddeus Danger. Senior.
there's got to be a real Thad Ranger out there somewhere. Like I feel like I know that guy.
Right.
Like I grew
I
up.
think
We were
there's
talking
a
about the
lot
UP
of-
earlier.
yeah.
Like I feel like I used to work with that guy.
Oh yeah,
That's
there's definitely
probably
guys.
why
Yeah.
he's so
He resonates,
People
dude.
love it, like because
Yep.
he's so relatable. People are like, "Oh, like my uncle is this kind of
Yeah,
guy,"
he
or
exists.
this guy. I know this guy. I met him before.
Yeah, he's
But
little parts of a lot of people.
I did a podcast phone in yesterday with a guy out of Georgia, and they said the same thing that even. So I think it's why he's that guy is everywhere in
Yeah.
different forms.
Every
but
state
that
has a
Ranger
Thad.
is
everybody-
America.
Yeah, yeah, that guy's everywhere. So.
He's something, man.
The fortunate part about that character is that you can really put him in any situation
yeah,
That's
and
true.
make it
Yeah.
kind of comical just because he's so weird.
It's how he reacts to the situation.
Yeah.
That in
No,
the
it's-
world is fun.
Yeah, like he's
Yeah.
he's like the entry. This is I don't know if you guys are fans of Mr. Bean
Oh
Yeah.
at all.
yeah.
I grew up loving Mr. Bean, and I never knew this, but in the opening of the old Mr. Bean show that was on BBC, in the opening credits, it's a street at night, like a cobblestone street at night, and there's a light, like a spotlight comes down from the sky, and he falls down to the street and gets up and dusts himself off. Well, I never knew this, but a British fellow, a friend of mine, explained it to me that whole premise was that Mr. Bean is an alien that just got dropped to Earth, and that's why he
That's how he experiences
doesn't
the world.
fit. That's why
Yeah.
he's so. It's like the square peg in a round hole.
Yeah.
And that's why he experienced. So in that similar kind of vein, because that was like Mr. Bean, Ernest. Those are kind of the inspirations for the character in a lot of ways. And so in that same kind of vein, I think that's part of why he was so awkward in the world. And that's kind of how I go about that character, is that he's so
So
out of so removed from being
so little self-awareness.
normal and a little self-awareness.
But at the same time, he thinks he is in it.
oh yeah, he has an
You know,
unhealthy amount.
He
of
doesn't
confidence.
recognize.
Yeah.
He doesn't recognize that he's out of
Yeah.
place.
Yeah.
He's just like,
It's a
I know what you guys do. I was
Yeah.
born in
Yeah.
the U.S. of A. and
Yeah.
and he
Lack
goes
of
your character.
self-awareness
heavy,
is never not fun. to me.
heavy,
Right.
heavy
Yeah.
ignorance.
Yeah, heavy
Yeah.
ignorance.
I feel like that's so. I feel like that's such a comedic perspective
Oh, dude.
in general of it's an alien viewing something that is normal with a fresh set of eyes. I feel like it's very comedic or very stand-up in general.
Yeah,
And,
you
you know,
you could use that to
Right.
describe probably what all of us do, or most comedians, in a sense that we're we're looking at things or going about this whole life in a little different way than most.
Yeah.
One of the cool things that's developed from the Thad character is I don't know if you guys have seen, we've done a couple like showcase style talent show,
We did a couple shows
Christmas
up.
parties, and it's really turned into a wild kind of. It's a wild thing.
And one of the neat things I think that one of the benefits of it is that we've been able to give, not to overstate it, but give a somewhat of a format for some other comedians to try out more sketch work, character work, because there's not
It bridges that gap.
there's not a lot of that
Yeah, it's hard.
opportunity.
Yeah.
As much as there, you can't, I couldn't have, you can't develop a character like that by going to a stand-up open mic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could try, but it would be, so if you have an audience that's expecting something like that, it's a little easier to work with.
We've had Tim Finkel, who's a yo-yo guy.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've ever
Finkel's
seen-
hilarious.
He's amazing yo-yo guy.
Abby Weitengruber and John Kaufman came up and did a hilarious psychic medium characters
Yeah.
with the crowd
Oh,
and
that's
stuff.
so cool.
And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And it was just cool that that we can, or that there is that kind of format to allow that, or to
It's like that old school
embrace
variety show.
that.
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
and
It's
I
just
think
really
some
fun.
of that kind of, like I said, like that goofy character work. Like I don't know. To me, maybe it's me, but I like to hang on to that in the world of comedy, because I think that's something that maybe can get lost sometimes. Everybody wants to. Not everybody, it seems like sometimes comedy can get too serious for its own good.
Too hot takey.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with a guy just being an idiot, hitting himself in the head with a shovel or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that
There's more
slapstick.
ways to get the job done.
Yes.
And it very seems like it's just leaning into
Yeah.
into that just like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you guys seen this? You guys hear about this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
seen
lot of
this
that.
thing?
And it's
Yeah.
like, we've talked about this a lot too. Like in stand up, it's hard. Like in the open mic scene, I'm sure you guys see a lot of that. It's like, it's tempting to grab on whatever is in the news. But it's like, there's a certain point, we talk about this kind of stuff a lot. There's a certain point where you just can't keep up with. That's why, like the Colberts and the Seth Meyers and the people that have shows every day, even they can barely keep up with it. And that's every day. And it's like, that stuff just isn't, practical from a comedy perspective. It's not, at a certain point, it's like,
Well, I think
When you're trying to develop an hour.
well, yeah,
Right.
here's the stuff that
And
Trump
the-
did. It's just not
the
relevant
news,
anymore.
The news
or
cycle
whatever.
now is so
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
30 years ago, the story would have held on a little longer, but I think now the news cycle changes every day.
Yeah.
That a joke that you did at a mic last week, people have already forgotten what the story
There's a
was.
new thing much bigger. And
Yeah,
you're just like,
now
no,
this
this
week.
seriously was funny
Yeah,
on
this was
Monday.
okay.
I
Yeah,
tried
it was
this.
great.
was good.
This
Yeah.
killed on Monday.
So
Yeah,
it's
this
this-
killed
I
on
mean,
Monday.
if you can do
That's
it-
the name of my first album. Let's kill last
Yeah,
month.
exactly. Oh, this one, they liked it before you got. They liked
It's
it before
your
you
fault.
guys did.
It's your fault. If you don't like this, it's
I think
your
I
fault.
see who the problem is here. Yeah.
Well, no, I think that's good as far as I don't necessarily do a character, but
Sure.
but when I'm leaning, or maybe I find myself leaning more of kind of a structured stand-up style, I'll occasionally have like an improvised thing real quick, and it's more me than anything, and it's just
Yeah.
goofy,
Yeah.
and that part gets a laugh. Obviously, I didn't write it down, and I go, oh yeah, being goofy is funny,
Yeah.
or it can be.
It
That's
can
it.
be.
And you remind them, it's like, oh, cool.
And I know for me, one of like my comedy in terms. So I love the idea of characters. I love the idea of doing different voices and just being more animated on the stage. I don't want to be that guy that's just standing there. It's like, yeah, so this thing sucks and this guy's the worst. Some comedians can do that and they're awesome at it. But for me, I like doing the characters. I like pretending that I'm my dad and just, hey, what are you guys doing? I like that type
Wait
of
a minute.
stuff.
Are we brothers?
Yeah.
Right?
Did you just do an impression of my
I
dad?
didn't, wait, how do you know my dad?
Dad?
Yeah.
Vince!
Dad?
And
I
maybe
knew there
it's,
was another one out there.
And maybe it's because I grew up, I got my dad and my uncle, these two Italian guys. Hey,
Right.
what's going on over there? Oh, the place, they have good Twizzlers.
It's
you
beautiful.
know what I
It's
mean?
beautiful twist.
And but that's the type of comedy that I like, and it's nice to see people saying, "Hey, we're not." I feel like there's a point where there's some comedians that, in a way, they're going more for an applause than for laughter.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going
Right.
like
The applause
okay,
break.
I have the mic now. I have to make statements about how the world should be better.
You don't
And-
always have to be the most clever.
Yeah, and you don't have to do that.
It doesn't always have to be the
Well,
most
and I think like
well-constructed
I've conceded that I'm not the most clever.
That might be
Yeah,
it.
And I can't, like I can't play, and I don't like. I don't
accepted it.
I don't want to.
I don't even try.
I don't want to tell anybody how to do their comedy. You
Right.
do what you want to do, and there's room for everything. But for like you said, for me or individually, like there's no way I'm the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's not. I don't. If I can't. I could say something, but I can't back it up with
Yeah.
facts.
I got a
and-
5-minute bit that provides a solution
Right,
to
right.
a real political
Gun control
issue
or
that's also funny.
Yeah.
Ooh, what am I running for mayor? Why would I be able to do that?
It does feel that way, and
Yeah.
there's a degree of. I mean, if you're, we talk about this a lot too. You got to think about the audience, like what the audience wants. Like
Yeah.
if you put the audience first, it's like, I feel like more and more, some of our shows have gotten more goofy and more further away from that because it feels like that's people want to get away from this.
Yeah, and escape.
That's why they're here,
It's
probably.
dude. The news cycle
Yeah,
is
right.
kind of just oppressive.
when you just
dude.
can't
regardless
get,
of where you
can't get
fall
away
on it.
from it.
You can't get away from it. It's
nowadays,
everywhere.
Yeah,
It's everywhere.
I don't care who you are. You just wake up. If you wake up and look at the news, like, okay, this is who you need to be mad at today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
This is why.
Yeah.
And call back in tomorrow because you're gonna be mad about something
That's
else
it,
that you
man.
can't control.
Don't
It's
leave
crazy.
the house.
And then
Be
it's
stressed.
like, social media is all a big news thing now too, and everybody's got takes, and it's like, yeah, I don't know, like I kind
Yeah.
of want to get away from it.
Now, well, it's nice that, like I said, you guys are like, yeah, we want to be goofy. It seems like a crazy concept of being goofy for comedy, but at the same time,
Right.
But at
really
the same
thinking
time, though,
outside the box.
it could, yeah, right. The real innovators.
Yeah.
But at the same time, though, it in a way it feels refreshing because, like, oh yeah,
It
we're
is.
meant to be goofy. We saw T.J. Miller live.
Just
Super
And
goofy, dude.
Just super
so
goofy,
Yeah,
so
all
goofy,
goofy.
and we loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know, he didn't tell us what to do, what to think. He pulled out
I
like
was just
a
gonna
water
say,
bottle?
he pulled out a dummy. He
Yeah.
did tricks with oranges, like as much goofiness as he
Yeah.
could get,
Yeah,
and
absurd.
we were crying
Absurd.
laughing.
Absurdism.
He was
It's amazing.
destroying
It's
the room.
It's like it almost baffles me more than the people who are writers, which
Yeah.
if I found I can only do 50%, like you were saying, like I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
going to be the. It's almost more baffling that he can, because the part he takes out. I bought a ventriloquist or a ventriloquist doll. I don't know how to use it. And then he just did the eyebrows back and forth, and it demolished
Murdered.
the room.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I was just like,
Totally committed to it.
and
did you do
it
that?
was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a 2-drink minimum either. There's a
Yeah.
lot of sober people in there
That's
just
wild, dude.
dying. And he's like, my wife thinks it's creepy, but and he has a face, and it was amazing.
Yeah. We got to the point now, we drive around a lot because Traverse City's not near anything. So we do a lot of driving. Today's a perfect example. But we do a lot of workshopping. And this kind of thing we always say to each other will be like, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out if this joke's too dumb to do. And we always say, just do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
You gotta do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Like, we're
And-
kind of shooting for more of that stuff.
And again, like I respect. I mean, there's some really funny people that that have that ability.
Oh, definitely.
To like Robert Jenkins
Perfect example.
has that
dude.
ability to
He's such a sharp
to
voice.
I mean to make a statement. I don't know if that's the right phrase, but and to be funny.
Yeah.
And I respect that too. But like I said, there's no like I think of it like that. Like if I got into an argument on a topic with someone that was as knowledgeable as that, like I'm gonna lose 11 out of 10 times
right.
on that argument. So it's
So
like,
why even play in that?
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
and why? Yeah, so why should I even?
Or even a guy like Chappelle, like, we were talking about, like, he one of the sharpest, like, social political minds of our time, but still has a good amount of goofy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we were, the other day, that joke on SNL that he did about how he got rich and then Obama became president. And man, I just got this money.
Now everyone be generous.
Yeah. Like, and he talk, he acts out the air balloon and all that stuff. It's like, that's the kind of shit to me that's like, he has a super broad frequency, which I think is why he's such a genius. Is
Yeah.
he can do both.
That's one of my favorites.
Oh, my
I just
God.
got this money.
So funny, dude.
Well,
Yeah,
I think that I mean, that's why I don't think we anybody should put any kind of constraints on comedy.
Yeah,
Oh,
That's the
absolutely.
beautiful
You know
thing
what I
about
mean?
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
I
one
guess
of the great
I
things.
was saying it's just nice that there's still
Yeah.
different types of comedy going on.
Yeah,
Not so
no,
much
I totally
like
agree,
not so
yeah.
much like, oh yeah, these guys are the worst. Let's let's stop
Yeah.
doing that. It's like, do what you can, but it's nice to see that there's stuff that's different. Which
Yeah.
really, at the same time, since it's goofy, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be different. But for
Yeah.
some reason,
Yeah.
it just is.
Yeah.
I find that, I guess that's just to say that I find, like, absurdism is really refreshing.
It's
Yeah.
refreshing.
When it
Yes.
pops into an
Yes.
open
Yeah.
mic every now and then.
Yeah.
Easton Grainer.
Yeah.
That's so bizarre and so weird and so like Mitch Hedbergian.
Yeah.
That it was like, it's just refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well,
It's
I mean,
like
it's
a palate cleanser.
It's
Yeah,
comforting
for sure.
for me because I'm not. I mean, I might be 2 years into it, so I'm not confident in exactly what my
You're only 2
style
years,
is.
dude. You're super funny for 2 years in.
Thank you.
For real though.
Thank you.
For real.
Get that? Did you get that?
Yeah.
Did you get that? Did you get that?
Okay,
Zoom
let me take that again. Let me take that again.
Zoom in the fist.
2 years.
So write it down.
Dude, all right.
But what I mean is, it's refreshing because like I'm so open to people who are ahead of me,
Sure.
as far as what they say.
Yep.
And so like I've heard someone say, because you never wear shorts to do stand up, like
Or a
as
hat,
a law, and I go. And I'm like, oh no, but then I'm like, why?
Right.
Like,
Where
who?
did some of this come
Yeah.
from?
Where did that start? Just be like, one guy wore shorts, bombed, and they're
Yeah.
like, it's the shorts.
Right.
I think
totally.
yeah.
the
Those bare legs
Had to
made
be
the
the
room
shorts.
silent. Yeah. The knees are distracting.
The
They
knees.
look weird. They look.
We were talking about this
These
on the
are
way here.
weird.
It's such a weird, like, comedy is such a weird, especially at our level. I think that we're all kind of on in that weird, like, that JV level or whatever we want to call it. It's a fickle thing, man, and it's like, I don't know. There's so many different ways that it can go wrong.
Yeah.
Like there's so many.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's such a fickle. Like we say all the time. Like, I mean, we've all got jokes that we love and that are great. And like, I can honestly say, I don't like my 2 favorite jokes. I don't know where they came. They just show up sometimes.
In
You know
your
what I mean?
brain.
Yeah.
They show up in your brain, and I
Yeah.
still do them, and I've been doing them for years. And it's like, where like. That's the kind of there's this insecurity around comedy in general. It's like where do you find it?
Yeah.
So we're always trying to do this like match our
Yes.
routine and our
Yes.
rhythm to be like
Repeat.
yeah, like I'm gonna go stand in the shower because that's where I heard of that joke.
Right, right.
That's what.
Now I'm in my shower for 18
I was
hours
just
a
talking
day.
about that.
Same
Of like,
road.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll like get down a weird rabbit hole of YouTube of like talking about like free will,
Dude.
and unable to free will,
Yeah.
and then I related it to. I don't know where any of my jokes come from.
Dude, it's
Because I
scary,
can't-
man.
Yeah,
you
it's
can't go
weird.
think and then
Yep.
Okay, jokes now.
jokes.
Once
now.
you start
Yeah.
looking into the
Jokes
light,
now.
it's like no.
Jokes now, please.
Well, that's what
them in.
that War of Art that Mike's art turned me on to. That book, War of Art, talks about that, about doing repetitive things because it's not, you can't, I don't know. Now we're going to, I don't want to talk about it almost. Like, I don't want to jinx it. But it is, you know what I mean? Like I don't know where the place is that you
Yeah.
find the
Yeah.
funny, but I just want to keep the funny coming. So it's a fickle thing, I guess, is ultimately my point.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about this anymore. So
And
anyway,
I-
so that
I-
comes.
And I think it's easily complicated, but like you said, like at the end of the day, I think you have in the moment you have one room full of people,
That's it, yeah.
hopefully full of people
Yeah.
that you're trying to make laugh, and that's it.
Yeah.
So they laugh or they don't laugh. You
Yeah.
know, like you said, there's a lot of ways to fail, but there's only really one way to succeed.
That's
Yeah,
how
yeah.
you know you're doing
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
and there's
Yeah.
one indicator.
Yeah.
That's the one true thing
Yeah.
that you can count on.
Which
to
is
know.
the good news and the bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Seinfeld said on the I think he was with Neil Brennan or whatever, or Regan. They were talking about how comedy critics will pick apart a set or whatever, or share their subjective experience of how a show went.
Yeah.
But Jerry Seinfeld's like, well, we just had a survey, and like
Yeah.
everybody like
We passed the survey.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
passed
right.
the survey. Yeah,
Yeah.
the results are already in.
Everybody voted. On
Yeah,
it.
and it's like
Yeah.
that's why comedy's great. We were just talking about all the different approaches, but ultimately, you just want to make people laugh. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
we
that's
can easily forget that because it gets into an ego thing or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, and also too, I try to remind people like when you do comedy, you're playing almost a game of pretend on the stage, and I think people forget that. They turn it into like, oh, like he's starting to do a rally. It's like no, like his goal is to make you laugh, and
Yeah.
if you don't laugh, it's not working. That's it.
Yeah,
He's not
that's
gonna make you do anything or whatever. It's like. It's a game of pretend. I think that's why we like comedy so much, because it's a game where you can become a different character. You can have
it's the
different
best.
perspectives. And you know going in like, oh, my job is just to make you guys funny, not to provide super in-depth truth and
Yeah.
to tell the people what they need to know. It's like, no, my job is to make you laugh while you're drinking your beer or whatever.
Yeah, dude. Yes,
Like, that's it.
it's a
Yeah.
magical thing. When it works, it's magical. It's the
It
best
is.
thing in the
It's the
world.
best thing in the world.
Kind of like that mug you got going there.
is.
So, do you guys? So for you guys coming from Traverse City and kind of doing all over the state, do you guys notice like different types of audiences? Like some people like they really click with the character, other people maybe not so much. Or what's kind of your thing?
I think, I mean, I think to a certain degree, I think every audience is a little different. But there's definitely a difference in audiences up north
For sure.
versus audiences down here, and even in it seems like, and they might be minute, but I think there's even differences when you go from Detroit to Grand Rapids to Lansing. I mean, there's little differences between all of those. I think.
Yeah.
I think the only it is interesting because we even do even in Traverse City there's a lot of different types of rooms.
That's true,
There's a lot of more I guess like blue collar rooms. We do like an Elks Club up there that has a regular feature that's one of the most fun shows ever, but it's very much a blue collar room.
Right.
And then there's kind of like hipster rooms or whatever, and it's I guess it becomes an exercise in trying to figure out how to split the difference in all those.
Yeah.
Like again, we bring up Robert Jenkins, but he's one of those guys that I really respect, who gave a lot of advice when I was first starting out.
Okay.
Was you got to work it out. You got to go to all. You have to go. There's no shortcuts. You got to go to all those places and figure out how it's going to work.
How to make the funny in all those.
Yeah.
They're fun in different ways. I mean, some of the most fun we do have up there in smaller towns that don't get a lot of comedy brought to them, and again, the end of the day, you just got to make them figure out how to make that group of people laugh, and it's always
absolutely.
a little different.
And it's never the
Absolutely.
audience's fault.
Never,
Ever.
yeah, that's a good.
Yeah.
Even
You
if
know what I mean? Even if it is.
totally
Even if
is.
it totally is their fault.
Even if it is, it's not their
absolutely
fault.
their fault.
Yeah.
It's
That's
never
just
their
not a
fault.
productive mindset.
No.
Like
It's not
we
good.
try to really steer clear of that, which is it can be hard sometimes because there are a lot of factors. There's a lot of it's fickle, man. The whole thing is fickle.
Yeah, and ultimately, I mean, if
It
you
could
if
be
you
an
want
air
to
conditioner that screws
be a
up your set.
profession, if you want to consider yourself professional, that's the job. Make this group of people, figure it out. Get out there and
absolutely.
figure it out. We equate it to baseball a lot.
There's a lot of baseball talk.
I mean, if you're having trouble hitting the slider, you got to hit the cage and figure out how to hit the slider, or you can get sent back down. So I mean, if you just can't just tell them not to throw you a slider,
Right. 'cause
it's coming.
You're
So
in the
you better
room.
figure out how to hit it.
Now, is there does it then come to, because you figure out the room and is it in the mid set and you're just like, this is not going well, switch it up, or is it sometimes it's just the next time I'm in this area, I have a better idea of what is
Just
going to
kind of
hit,
ride it out,
or
type of
making
thing.
this more generalizable. This is funny
Yeah.
to more people now because I rewrote it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think of it in terms of like tracks. I guess not that I know what the hell I'm talking about, but when it's almost
I can attest.
So you can back me up on this one. But it's almost like you're doing, like we said, you're almost kind of doing a survey. You're like, there's different tracks to go down. And I guess that's kind of the way I think lately, as I've got these different tracks that I can go down, and it's almost like, let's try something from this track, and then if it works, like, okay, they want more of me talking about marriage, or they want to get into super goofy, punchy stuff, or they want dirty stuff, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like you almost have to kind of like, it is. We say all the time, not to get too nerdy about it, but I think what makes good comedians good is, I think, just choices that you make in the moment. Like, it is very much that kind of in the moment choices you make, and being able to. My biggest I know that when I usually fail, when I usually bomb, it's being so stubborn that I stay on the track. Right?
Yeah.
I'm doing these jokes, and you're getting them.
Yeah, This is funny to me, and that's why you're.
Yeah.
And who knows? They might just
now
not
you're
like
wrong.
my
And now-
face
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like sometimes they just don't like your face. They don't like the way
Yeah.
your voice sounds. Who knows?
Yep.
But it's trying to be, I guess, open to adapting. I don't know.
Well, and I think
Yeah.
that comes
where
for me.
improv
It's kind.
training
I'm about 4 years, coming on 4 years, and so I think I'm just starting now personally, and I'm sure this is different with everybody, a different time frame with everybody. But I'm just now starting to feel like I have that latitude on stage where I can start to make changes on the fly.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
There's enough material.
Before I didn't have a choice, but here's the set.
Here's
because
my
this
five.
is the only set I have.
I've been memorizing it for 3 weeks.
Exactly.
I've been saying it over and over in the car.
Which in retrospect is terrifying.
It's a monologue.
You know what I mean? It's like, no wonder I was scared. I didn't have anything.
I don't remember who.
That's what it is.
I don't remember who said it, but there was a veteran comedian I read a quote from that said, "You become a comedian. You become a real comedian when you go from reciting your material to having a conversation with the audience."
Yeah.
And I think for me, I feel like I'm not there. I don't think, but feel like I'm starting to turn the corner on that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're in the room more.
Yeah.
Buddy Hackett's got that. What percent are you in the room?
Yeah.
He asked, I don't know who it was, like Bill Burr or somebody. And he asked, it's like a percentage. What percent are you in your head thinking about the next joke versus what percentage in the room? And he asked, whoever it was.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
Oh, yeah. And he was like, 20, the guy said, whoever it was said 25%. And then they asked Buddy Hackett, and he said, what percent are you in the room? He said, I'm 99%.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good Buddy Hackett. Let's all stop hitting on it. I'm 99%.
No, I think
Adam Sandler.
I think it's really
Yeah.
Buddy
I think it's really
Sandler.
interesting because
Adam
when you
Hackett
think
Sandler
about
doing Buddy
when you think about some comedians, there's sometimes where they're just not doing well, and it almost doesn't even seem like it's a routine. It feels like they're just doing a monologue.
Yeah.
They're just kind of rehearse. This is something I rehearsed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go up there. I'm just gonna say it, and then everyone's just gonna have to sit and watch the monologue. Whereas the illusion. So sorry to fool everybody. The illusion is we comedians we're supposed to go up there and we're just funny.
Yeah.
This wasn't rehearsed. This wasn't practiced.
Yeah.
We're natural. We're just talking to you, having that illusion of, oh, this guy just walked on stage and just started thinking of stuff.
All of the events in my life happened last week.
The other day.
The other day.
And this guy always knows what I'm talking about. This guy knows
but
what I'm talking
right before the show, he had
This guy always knows.
right before the show, he had to go on an airplane, and all the airplane jokes went on.
That's right.
Well, I think that's one of the allures or one of the traps of comedy.
Yep.
And why so many people try it or are interested to try it is because the really good ones make it look like
effortless.
it is that.
No doubt,
Make
dude.
it look so easy
doubt.
that it looks like an easy.
I can't tell you
I'm
how many
naturally
times-
lazy. This looks like an easy job.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah,
me
dude.
do this.
I'm funny around the office.
yeah, exactly. I'm the
Yeah.
funniest guy at
We
deer
have-
camp.
We do this
Let's
show.
make this happen.
Speaking of shout out Studio Anatomy in Traverse City, which Brian Chamberlain runs a great room. But we do a show up there where we busk out in front of the show before every show. We set up a sign. People come by. It's a foot traffic area, so we sit out there. I can't tell you how many times people see a comedy show and say, "Oh, Jim should be on the show. He's super funny."
They
It's
may have
like,
signed
I'm a
up as
comedian.
if that's
Yeah,
an
dude.
option.
Yeah.
Like, let me up there. Let me up there. I'm gonna kill it.
Yeah,
You know,
my
it's-
favorite is you tell somebody, you're a comedian, and they say, "Oh, well, yeah, you get a couple beers in me, and I could do that."
Oh,
Like,
yeah, I love
you're
it.
probably gonna be terrible.
yeah, like it's
You just got too real.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah,
can't
it's
tell
a-
you how many times I've heard that.
Yeah,
It's a weird thing, man. It is. It's like it's a weird, not to sound too whatever, but it's an art form that is. We were talking. There's a definite analogy to like a good chef to a comedian. Like it's a very ingestible art form.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And it's very similar in that way. Where I mean, a good chef will just knock your socks off, but everybody makes something at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow,
Everybody's
already
this
on
is-
board with this
Yeah,
analogy.
yeah,
I like
everybody's
it.
good. At first, I was like, "Where's he going with this?"
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how to cook and
Everybody
do with
makes something at
ingredients,
home.
but
Everyone
you're
can do a
like,
peanut butter and jelly at
Yeah.
home.
But it also is like
I can
it's
make a Velveeta skillet like nobody's business.
everybody makes something that's pretty good. Like you
Yeah.
got pretty good lasagna recipe, whatever. But you go to a restaurant, they'll blow your face off. Right?
Yeah, right.
And then it's also like comedy in the sense that you just kind of ingest it and it's over. You have a good evening. You go to a restaurant, you have a good evening, and it's pretty rare that you'd be like, "Oh, we got to go back and get this chef's this."
Yeah.
And that's what we're all trying to do is be like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we got to go see Ben Mack's bit about this."
Yeah.
So it's I don't know where it just makes sense in my head that it's kind of a similar kind of art form. It's like
Yeah.
It is. That makes sense.
it's a much more like I don't know.
it feels more attainable.
Yeah. Carlin called it
Maybe.
a low art. It is an art, but it's like a low art. Like people are funny in the bar. People are funny around their friends. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And it's a different thing to be a
Yeah, I
George
mean,
Carlin.
we talk about that. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a different. I mean,
Yeah.
being funny in front
Strangers.
on stage in front of a group of strangers is a whole different animal. But some of the funniest people I know and I've known in my life are not comedians.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
My
You
bro-
know,
my- for
you have
example, my
funny-
brother is funnier than me.
Yeah, you have funny
100 times.
people in your
Yeah,
life
100
that
times
are
over.
just fun to be around.
Yeah.
and funny, but they're not trying to. It's a whole different game. Really,
We're all just
trying to-
narcissistic enough.
Yeah.
Right.
Amen
Yeah,
to that.
There is
the
that.
strangers.
You all
Strangers,
need
man.
my voice.
Yeah, you listen to me now. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, Brian
talking now.
Brian Reagan, he
Oh, dude.
said, I think it was on
best,
P. Holmes' podcast.
Yeah, legend,
Yep.
dude.
He talked about how you going up into a group of strangers and you have to immediately build
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
equivalent of a year at the office.
Yeah, dude.
That's why you're funny.
That familiarity.
out of
Yeah.
nowhere of
Yep.
or you what I don't know if it was also Brian Reagan who said you show up, it's the equivalent of showing up to a restaurant late and you have to explain why you're late,
it.
and that's what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like who's the Kyle Kinane?
Yeah.
He's got that great opening bit. Here comes Uncle Barbecue with his yuck yucks
Yeah,
or whatever.
exactly. Just
And he
sets the tone right
he
now.
sets
you know,
it like
here we are.
that's what you're getting.
Yeah.
You already
It's like,
know him.
here's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Kyle Kinane channel. I'll watch that all day.
Yeah.
Like Brian
Yeah.
Regan's a guy. I don't care. He gets away with it. Like it doesn't even. I love him, dude.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, he's
he
so
originated
genius.
dumb guy voice.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
Well, now I do.
Yeah.
You know, like he coined it, dude.
Yeah,
He's a
it's-
legend.
Fantastic.
I'm also triggered by the divine infant of Prague. I'm just going to say my Catholic guilt is on full display. I got to peek up there every now and then to make sure it's
Just
not
make
shaking
sure
its head.
Yeah, right. How was that last joke?
Is that shaking its head at me? Like I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I already.
It's turned the other way.
Yeah, you guys
sorry.
should put a little motor in it,
Yeah, I'm
so
gonna,
you can get it to turn at people while you got it.
we identified that we have
Did
4
that-
Catholics
did
in the
that
room,
move?
so you guys.
Yes.
Yeah, his head just spin around. I'm gonna feel shame either way. So. This is going direct to the Vatican.
swear to God,
Like,
it's
yeah, we've been keeping eyes on Matthew. We knew it. He would eventually turn this
They've
way.
got eyes in every single one of those.
Well, the Pope is on Twitter, which is weird.
So,
This is true.
You can slip
it's-
into the Pope's DMs.
It is. It's the 90s.
It's the 90s.
Are you
Yeah.
seeing anyone? He just sends a picture of the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
Back.
All right.
You think he gets dick pics in his DMs? He must.
You gotta hope so.
He has.
Oh, I without a doubt.
He must.
Oh yeah, the internet's a horrible.
That must be an
place.
interesting
Horrible
job.
place for
It's a horrible
That must
place.
be an interesting job to be the
Guaranteed
Pope's director of social
Someone has
media.
sent a dick pic to the Pope.
Does he
right?
notify him every
Guaranteed.
time, or in like chunks of 10? Be like, we got another 10.
More 10
That's gotta happen. Oh, that would be weird.
for sure. That has
Yeah.
happened.
You know,
yeah.
somebody. There's got to be some weird fetish. This is okay. But there's got to be some kind of a weird fetish where people are attracted to the Pope, right?
Well, yeah.
Like it's got to
Oh,
be.
sure.
Like people.
A
like
guy
the-
in uniform? Come
What's
on.
Yeah,
the, was
guys.
it Stock-
The Vicar
Love
of Christ.
Love it.
Right.
In
Well, it's
uniform.
like the guys that
Free
are in
wine.
prison.
Get you a man who could do both.
Yeah, it's like those women that go after the guys that are in prison and they
Right.
end up getting married
Yeah,
to some
I'm sure there's
civilian.
a thing there.
There must be.
Yeah.
What I'm here to actually say is I'm attracted to the Pope.
That's what we're finally getting down to
It
it.
took a dark turn.
So
Finally
Thad, you
getting
met
down
your
to
wife after you were in prison.
yeah. Right after.
Right after.
She picked me up.
Thad in prison would be great. Actually.
Thad would not do well.
No, he would not. Thad would not do.
Thad
well
would
in
not
prison.
do well in prison. I
If you
don't
don't,
feel
okay, could you please write that down? That would be a good video.
Thad in prison. If he took like a trip to prison,
Oh, he
I
would
feel like that's
what's that?
he thinks he's going to camp.
What's that show where they take the kids scared straight?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I
gosh,
feel like,
dude.
yeah, that would be like,
That would
Yeah.
be great.
that's like the Adam and Eve unboxing on
Yeah.
steroids of like, you're going to prison, just be like, well, someone told me,
Yeah,
giving me a
right.
cake,
Yeah.
and then just
Yeah.
everything.
Said
I accidentally downloaded a song
Yeah, right.
and didn't pay for
This
it.
guy said to hold
Thad
on to
in
this for a
prison.
minute.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he's doing it for illegally downloading.
Yeah,
music.
right. Didn't even know he did. Yeah.
You know, they said specifically on
Yeah.
the mattress tag to not remove it.
Right.
And they did.
I just bought this computer. I had all this on here.
I swear.
All this was
That's
already,
wild,
All
man.
this was already here. Yeah, I don't think he'd do well. I wouldn't do. I don't think I would.
No.
Yeah.
No way. Not a chance. I'm from Charlevoix, Michigan.
Well, back to the thing. I was I think the last time this happened, well, no, it was a little bit ago, but I was telling, I think my mom, she goes, "How was the thing last night?" I go, "It bombed." I go, I was doing this material and the material works and it just bombed. It's kind of going back to what we were talking about
Sure.
before. And she goes, "Well, why don't you read the room, and when it's not going, you do some, different material. You do
Look,
different-
Mom, I'm not looking for criticism.
No, but it was literally my response was, "I don't have that much.
Yeah,
I have
Yeah.
maybe 20
Yeah, dude.
minutes."
Yeah.
End.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
you
don't
know,
have 2 hours to pull from. To,
Right,
you
yeah.
know, to make,
I got like 20 if it's going well. That's
make
the
the
thing.
move.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
tricky. I got
Yeah.
like 7 if it's not.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. You guys have never done it. Bart Dangus runs that Prankus room.
Yep.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, that has been incredibly
That's a good,
useful.
yeah. That's
Yeah.
a good,
Because it's a heckler encourage show. Shout out to Bart. It's an incredibly useful thing to just like you said, to figure out how to get pushed off the tracks and get back on and figure out how to get
it's
back
literally
to it.
practice for. And it's like, and like
tough.
I'll be doing the show and I'll forget that that's the point of it
Yeah.
when I'm up there and I'll be
Yeah.
like, I'll get irritated. I'll be like, "What's this guy doing? This is my time." And I would go, "Oh no, this is why you're here."
This is our time.
yeah, that was fun. I loved. Yeah, we
This
had
is
a lot
only
of fun.
half of my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it's challenging. But that is like the most weirdly supportive heckling room ever.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
it's,
it is. It's like
yeah, they're like
yeah,
lovingly heckling.
Because a lot of times they'll throw in why, because you're doing new material.
Yeah.
They'll throw in why they're not on board. Be like, "I didn't understand the last reference, and that's why I'm not laughing
Yeah.
right now."
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like actually honest.
They won't buy the premise.
No.
Then you're like, this is why we don't buy it. And
Yeah.
it's like, well, that's actually pretty useful.
Thank
They
you,
thought
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
a cop.
They thought, Bert, you look like a cop. That was great.
It's a,
And I cried for 20 minutes, and I was done.
And
That was
it
my
was
time.
over. That was
They
my
arrested
set.
them. They
Yeah.
just
The
worked
best
out.
thing, which is great, because we were like, how much time are we doing, Bart? And he said, well, you're probably going to do around 10, but if you're really doing badly, I'm going to leave you up there.
Right. yeah.
yeah.
Oh, good. That's great. Is that a Beanie Baby up there?
That is a Beanie Baby.
Cryogenically frozen.
So,
Cryogenically
so
frozen
everybody
Beanie Baby.
everybody like
I'm
when they
fascinated
see,
with this
when,
shelf.
When everybody sees the
never
Jesus shelf,
Yep.
they always look over and like, "Oh, so you got Pops?" Like, yeah, you can talk there. But
I'm fascinated with the Jesus shelf.
yes, yes.
Why
So,
is the Beanie Baby on the Jesus shelf?
So the Beanie Babies on
Praying.
G stuff. So my nana,
Praying.
my nana,
Yep.
got that
I
for
also
me
have a nana.
for my first communion.
Oh,
So she got me this, and that was back in the '90s when
Yeah.
Beanie Babies were all the rage. And she's like, "I got you this," and it came in that glass thing. She's like, "No, you got to keep it safe, otherwise the demons will get it."
These are all your Catholic trophies.
all the Catholic trophies.
That's right.
I got some.
Best,
I got some.
He's the best Catholic.
I
man.
wish
I
there
got
was a
some
bowling
relics.
trophy up there.
It's right there with it.
It's,
Well, they say that every time it storms, it's
Yeah.
angel bowling. So
How
An
did
angel
that fit up
bowling.
there?
I felt that was a good fit for
You
the
know
show.
that's an Italian dad
Oh,
who has
totally.
no other explanation.
You know,
He's like, what is the thunder? Be like, you know how every week that's where I go? Angels doing the same thing.
You're safe. You're safe at home, kid.
Don't listen to your mother.
And
go
that's-
Timberwolves.
And you've got the whole nativity scene up there too.
Yeah, so the nativity scene that was supposed to be just around during Christmas time. I went to this place. Where is it? I think it was like in Birmingham, something
Yeah.
like whatever. And they had this art fair thing out, and I saw that in a dark tent, and I go, wow. I go, that's a really like homemade nativity. It's
Yeah,
great. And I pull it
grassroots
out,
crafted.
and I was like,
It's like a gritty reboot of the
yeah,
nativity scene.
yeah. And then I
prequel
finally
story.
took it
Like
home.
Scorsese.
It's the Batman Begins of nativity scenes.
So I get that. I finally go
Christian
home and I
Bale.
realize that I don't have anything
Literally.
to
Baby
store it
Jesus.
in. So I'm like, I can't touch. And if I touch anything, all the pieces will break because it
Oh,
was
yeah.
just sticks and hot
Ah,
glue.
Balthazar.
So I'm like, all right, I guess that's staying up there.
Christian Bale plays Baby Jesus.
You know how much weight he'd have to lose to play
Right.
Baby Jesus?
He could do it.
Wasn't
if
he
anyone
just-
could do it.
who was he just
He's lost 200
in Vice?
pounds to
He
play
was
Baby
Dick Cheney
Jesus.
in Vice.
Yeah.
He
that's
gained
right.
like
That
how
looks
much weight for that?
fantastic.
Yeah, I saw that.
I haven't
I
seen
don't
it
know.
yet.
So I go for a lot of like later night walks here and
Yeah.
there, and like right now I'm getting like really like because whatever I don't know. So I'm all like bundled up, and I'll like be walking and it's pitch black out, and I'll keep passing nativity scenes, thinking it's people, and I'm like, Jesus, like when is
Literally,
this over? This
Jesus
is
Christ,
staring
yeah.
at me.
It's like, Jesus Christ. Oh,
Yeah.
it's just
It
the
is
baby
the-
version. It's the baby
Phew,
version.
it's baby Jesus.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I thought it was adult Jesus.
That was a bit I was trying to do for a while since we're just doing miscellaneous.
Yeah.
Is how fast we make documentary picks when people are still alive now.
Oh yeah.
Like it used to
The
be like,
turnaround's quick.
it's a little crazy. Like how
too quick.
long before like Meryl Streep walks up beside like Hillary Clinton and just moves her out of the way? And she's like, I'll just take over from here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just a weird thing to me that people are still alive and we're making
Yeah.
documentaries.
Yeah.
about it.
Right. Because that's how all the tense and the wording of it is as if it's a
Yeah.
eulogy.
Yeah,
Or if it's
it's
like,
really
yeah.
strange, man.
That's the cycle's so fast now. We're gonna be.
It would be weird to-
predicting the future soon.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to-
Can you? I know. Can you
There's
imagine
stuff
being
to
a
talk
person
about.
watching a documentary about your life from really only like 10 years ago?
Yeah, like this is like when's
Yeah.
this had Spaceballs. Like
That's not how that-
This,
yeah.
this is now. What?
Yeah,
no,
when-
right-
we're
We're in now.
What happened to that? Missed it. When?
Fast forward to later.
Why did anybody tell me my ass was this good? I love that
Yeah,
movie. dude.
it's yeah.
What's I gonna say? Like you think like when they watch the movie and then everyone's like, so what'd you think of the movie? They'd be like, you guys could have just asked me about my life.
I would have been in it.
I would have
Like,
told you.
Yeah.
yeah.
I could have just
I
told
get a
you guys.
couple
I would have
bucks.
been in it. I would have loved some of that acting.
would've
I
loved
know.
it, yeah.
Some
Just
of
put
that-
me like on a podcast. I don't know. I don't think you need to make a whole movie on it.
I feel like
It is.
I
It's like
should
a
have
weird
some
form-
royalties along with some.
It's like a very produced form of gossip.
Yeah.
Like how do you
Yeah.
think Mark Zuckerberg felt when he saw the whatever
Jesse
the
Eisenberg.
Perfect
Yeah.
example. Jesse Eisenberg. He's like,
yeah, that's a good.
you guys know I'm an alien, right?
Yeah, or like,
right, yeah.
or like Captain Phillips. Like he
Oh,
was
yeah.
like, that dude's alive. Or like
Yeah.
Sully Sullenberg. Tom Hanks
Yeah.
is big on the.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. It's very
So you
strange.
can consult him still.
I know he's there. Like, and he could use that money.
Are you guys looking forward to any movies or anything that's coming out?
Oh,
Because I
man.
feel like every movie is. Remember the '90s?
Yeah.
Well, we made it again.
Dude,
Yeah.
I will say
That
and this-
Vice looks good.
Vice
That
looks
you-
good. I haven't
that
seen
you
it yet.
mentioned
It's
that.
actually at the state right now.
The Sam Rockwell. I'm real excited about the Sam Rockwell portrayal of W. I think that
Fantastic.
looks-
Ooh, yeah.
I'm
that looks interesting.
super pumped about Deadwood. That's one that I'm really
Deadwood?
excited. Deadwood, the old series. You guys are probably too
I
young
know.
to
I know
remember
the
this.
series. They used to feed the people to the
Yeah.
pigs and
Yes.
stuff.
Yeah.
That
That's the
was
only
one.
thing I know about
If you
it.
want to follow an interesting production history, that movie has been like it's like the white whale of movies. That was a great series. It ended way too soon. It was only 3 seasons. It was a brilliant. I like westerns, so that was like a brilliantly done, gritty western. And they, for years, teased they were going to bring the series back and all this kind of stuff. David Milch wrote it, and I'm super pumped about that movie. But I wish it was more than just a movie. I wish
Yeah.
they brought the series back. But
Wish it was a lifestyle.
I want to be there. I want to live.
I want to be a
Deal
cowboy.
with
the
that.
pigs.
Yeah.
You know, Red Dead Redemption 2 just isn't enough for me anymore.
I know. You guys play the Red Dead?
I do.
Do you?
Yeah. That looks
Mule, the one with
Oh yeah,
Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood.
That looks
that
really
looks good. Yeah.
One last job.
That's
In
if
the
you
world.
say that in a trailer, I'm gonna watch it.
I know. He's got to do one last
Okay.
job.
Okay. Cool.
Well, I'm on my way.
I'm on my way. All right.
See,
It's Gran Torino with drugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta pick like a really serious movie, but I was gonna be like, yeah, I'm excited for Toy Story 4.
Actually, the whole Disney run this year is
pretty good run.
Yeah.
Like
pretty
the live action. Are they doing like a live action Lion King
And Aladdin eventually.
and
Yeah.
Dumbo.
and Dumbo?
Oh yeah.
The Lion King looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited about the new Game of Thrones series.
this
I'm
is true.
I'm rewatching all those right now.
I have to start watching. I'm the only one I know that hasn't seen
Oh,
it yet.
yeah.
I've
See,
seen
I
episode
think-
one.
I
like
think if
3
you
times.
start watching them
I've not
now,
watched
you're not
any
gonna
of
catch
them.
up.
It's
you.
7
Feel
seasons.
safe,
No, I'm not really a fantasy guy. But I got way into it. I'm just way into it. The storytelling's great. It's kind of like
Yeah.
it's almost like an old mafia movie or something because there's all these cities and like
And everyone's getting whacked.
yeah, dude.
In a
It's
way.
very much like that old. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's already out, but I the best movie I've seen in a long time was the Ballad of Buster Scruggs. If you haven't seen that,
No.
Coen Brothers.
on Netflix.
Ooh.
It's
on Netflix.
It's on
Ballad of
Netflix.
Buster.
Okay, because
Yeah,
if
Ballad
you
of
said it
Buster
was on
Scruggs.
anything else, I'm like, I can't. I guess I can't. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna watch
no,
it.
Yeah.
yeah. It was released on that. It's a Netflix original, or whatever. But it's a Coen Brothers movie.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It's really funny. It's what I think 5 short.
That's great. Yeah.
It's like 5 short films.
Ooh.
All
Tom
time,
Waits
but
is
all
in
in
it?
like they're all in different Western themes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom Waits, Liam Neeson's in it.
Liam Neeson's in it.
James Franco's in it.
Yeah.
It's got a great ensemble, but it's
It's 5 vignettes.
Is
basically.
it is it for James Franco? Is it because there's a meme going around where he's got a noose on his
Yeah.
head and he's like, first time.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Okay.
yes.
Yes.
And
Okay.
it's hilarious. It's if you like westerns and if you like old spaghetti westerns, old kind of,
Mom
and if you
spaghetti.
like dark humor, it's a
had me
fantastic.
at
It's,
that.
it's Coen Brothers.
It's
It's
a
it's
really
up there.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're masterful at that.
Yeah, they're
kind
real
of
good.
little humor with a little
Yeah.
twist on it.
Yeah.
It's real
So-
subtle, and then later on, you're just like laughing like
Yeah.
crazy later. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah.
It's an earworm, and they're
Yeah,
all
like the Liam
unpredictable.
Neeson one is a real slow burn. It's like a real long joke
Yeah.
Yeah.
with a real dark. It's
Oh,
good.
nice.
Yeah, I
I'm
recommend
in.
that one.
Yeah.
If you had to pick a streaming service, HBO or Netflix, which one would you pick?
I think Netflix just because of the
Netflix,
direction it's
yeah.
going.
Yeah.
I mean, I have
Yeah.
both, so I'm not forced
Yeah.
to. You know.
I would
Yeah.
I would have to agree too. There's a lot of great stuff on HBO. But dude, Netflix feels like it's like 98% stuff I'm never gonna watch.
Yeah.
But there's like
Yeah.
some essential stuff on there.
I think
think
it's cool.
the-
They're starting to act for like the movies that
Yeah.
they're
Yes,
producing
they're
is
actually
getting
producing.
quality,
And
Yeah.
series,
which is I think
Yeah.
no doubt.
going in that right
Blue
direction.
Planet 2 just came out on Netflix, and I'm so excited. I mean, it's apparently it's like a year old or 2 years old or whatever, but I just watched it because they had it back from like the early 2000s. They had Blue
Yeah.
Planet, so they finally made Blue Planet 2, and I'm watching. I'm like, look at this fish eat that bird. I'm like, I'm just
Spoiler
so-
alert: all the icebergs melt.
Yeah.
Sorry,
And that's
the ending.
and
that's the ending.
See, that's the problem. That's the problem too. Like
David
like,
Attenborough
like,
crying.
like regardless of what you think, but every documentary now is like, now here's this animal.
Yeah, sad whale.
It's
Here's a
gonna
sad
die
whale.
soon because
But
you had to drive your Hummer.
Yeah, that's right.
There's always like some like
It's
in the
full.
polar
It's
bear.
full of 2,000 pounds of straws.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody.
And there's always that scene in like nature documentaries of there's like one whatever the animal is wherever they are, ice, forest, whatever,
Yeah,
who
dude.
can't find a mate.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like now this lone penguin
Yeah.
is
I feel-
ugly.
Yeah. I feel you, penguin.
yeah, I feel you. I relate to that.
What do they call that? Spirit animal?
Look at this stupid penguin. This penguin decided to make an alter ego on Facebook, and he keeps getting other female
Yeah,
penguins.
right. Yeah.
That would be
Yeah.
funny, like an actually informative nature documentary, but it's like a comedian like roasting. Look at this stupid penguin.
Dude, I love anthropomorphizing animals. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorite things to do in
Yes.
stand-up. Like one of the things. Well,
Do
I
what
don't
to
know.
animals?
You anthropomorphize them. You turn them into like humans.
I don't know that position.
right?
You learn something new every day. Like
Is
personifying
that
just
yeah,
animals.
like
yeah.
That's
turn
just
it-
birds or
Yeah,
something?
it's pretty much.
Mostly birds.
It's, I don't know. There's so much humor in that to me. To like, I don't know. I
Well, we
love
do.
it.
I mean, we do that naturally with our pets and
Yeah.
stuff. I mean, you give you give them person. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, not that I would argue my.
I was at an
you know,
open mic the other
They
day.
have personality, but you kind of project things
Yeah,
into them
yeah.
that are probably not
I
necessary.
was at an open mic the other day, and there wasn't a ton of people there. It was at the Dish. There was probably, I don't know, maybe 10 people there. 4 or 5 of them were new people.
Yeah.
And I was doing, like, you do long sets there because it's kind of a newer mic. So I don't know, I did like 15 minutes. And I was like, I got about 10 minutes, and I'm like, these are all animal jokes. Like, it's all one animal joke after another. And weirdly enough, I got done, and I went, like, we were talking to some of the people in the crowd afterward, and this woman's like, I love the animal jokes. I'm like, I would have kept going. I've got like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Now you're known as like the animal guy.
Well,
Like,
she was like what was she?
The
was
Dr.
a vet tech
Dolittle
or something.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I know. Like, I just love animal
we just
jokes.
our last show in December, late December. So me, Vince, and Jarrett, who we also run the show with, we will also perform on our showcases in between the comedians we book.
Yeah,
And
we did
at-
kind of a similar thing. Yeah.
And the show ended, and we realized all three of us did all dog material.
Yeah.
I love it, dude.
We didn't plan it. Just
yeah.
be like, was there? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, how more relatable could you get? I mean,
I know.
yeah,
I do love
That's
dogs.
true. We love to eat
yeah,
dogs.
I love
sour
dogs,
dog.
boiled, fried.
Well, it's
I'm
just
not
relatable.
picky.
It's the chicken of the land. What? I don't know.
Chicken of the land.
Chicken of the yard.
Yeah. I used to do, yeah. How insulted are tunas that they can't like just be a tuna?
I know. I can't just be the tuna.
I
of
can't
the
be
tunas.
like I'm tuna. I'm a tuna. Yeah, I'm a tuna. Just
tuna.
call me.
Can
tuna.
I be the lion of the sea?
Chickens are cooler.
Sup, chicken? Just call me tuna.
Yeah, just
Whatever,
call me
chicken.
tuna.
All right,
It's
chicken.
75-pound fish.
It is
but
friggin'
yeah,
chicken
yeah,
over here.
Yeah, I'm just a 75-pound fish.
You know, whatever.
I
you
can
know.
eat a chicken. Why are you calling me a chicken?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Tuna are huge. That's the other. That's the other.
Yeah.
I don't know if that. I don't know if
They're
my
big
weight
animals.
reference was correct, but I know they're big.
They're big animals.
Yeah.
I saw a video of on the webs there of that somebody found rescued a 77-pound dachshund.
A 77-pound. That's a big dachshund.
That's the little wiener dog.
I have an 80.
There's no way he rescued him from diabetes.
No, I didn't rescue him all the way. But no, that was like a
He was in
wiener.
a Krispy Kreme.
That was
That's where they rescued him from.
It was like a
like
wiener
in
dog
line.
in a sourdough bun. That's what it looked like.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Gotta love some dogs.
He was about to end world hunger, but it's frowned upon.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
The newest premise I've been poking around is trying to figure out this way to like, because there's a whole genre on Netflix. Speaking of Netflix, there's this whole genre on Netflix about like trials that we got the verdict wrong.
Yeah.
Like the jinx and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And my point, I have dogs, and like my dog knows what kind of person you are as soon as you walk in a room.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
all criminal juries should be dog juries. We would say, you know what I mean? Like we would save a ton of time. Like
They just start barking, and be like, all right.
Yeah, if they don't, and then if they do like the guy, we can just spend the hour cuddling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Cuddling puppies.
who doesn't want to cuddle?
5 minutes in, it'll be like, I'd like to relinquish the rest of my time.
That's right.
Yeah.
This is the defense attorney to
Yeah,
petting the dogs.
We're gonna cuddle these dogs.
I just keep showing up for jury duty.
That's.
If no one would go away.
It's me and these.
I mean, dogs have the time. They're literally prisoners. They have the time.
They are.
They have time.
Yeah, I have a golden retriever, so I thought, oh, this big dog, it's got a nice woof. It'll know all the bad guys. Nope. It just goes woof, and the second a burglar could come in with a knife,
Yeah,
and
they
he's
don't
like,
know.
hi, let's be best friends. And he wiggles by him. He's like, you're my new friend.
Hey, let's
Yeah.
murder these guys together.
Yeah.
This is truth and
Yeah.
justice.
Yeah. That's work.
Yeah, he's breaking them out.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you're great. Maybe it's a part of a plan. Maybe the guy's like, I was gonna murder this family here, but this
He's
dog's just
so
so
nice.
amazing.
Gonna murder this family.
He took me over with his love.
You pull his dog bed aside, and there's a hole in the wall that he's been digging at for years and years just to break out.
Behind a Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, there's
poster.
Yeah, I thought it was a nice dog
You
poster.
took this poodle poster down. And then,
The Shawshank Redemption.
yeah.
We shouldn't have given him
Poodle
that spoon.
poster. Nice poodle
Yeah.
poster.
Yeah.
He's a dog, so he just eats the shit that's in there. He doesn't just crawl and he starts eating it. Why do they eat the poop?
Oh man, I got a pit bull that eats poop. What is the? That is the worst.
It's a survival thing.
Yeah, I've heard this.
It's
Okay, so explain.
It's to basically
It's
cover
a herd
their,
behavior.
cover their
It's herd
tracks.
behavior.
So
So they do, so a predator
Can't
can't
track
follow
Follow
and
it.
track them by their
Feces.
So what about this? So I used to have in my when I was
so gross,
when
dude.
I was a
Yeah,
kid,
it's a
my parents we
old-
had 2 to 3 dogs average,
Yeah.
and I had a miniature pincher, shit,
Yeah.
and then the lab came over and ate it. So is he just helping him out? Like, hey, no one's gonna get you.
Supposedly,
You're
that's
covered.
why
it's
they do
like
it.
a herd, like
But then my wife would go to the store and she'd be like,
"Oh,
"Oh, Monkey only likes a certain
know?
kind of food. She eats shit.
Yes.
She doesn't like a certain kind of food.
A certain kind of food.
Eventually,
She likes any food that's processed through a digestive system. I'll tell you that
I
much.
put my dog's food right in the cat box.
Yeah.
That's where he's going anyway.
Does it have a scent? Yeah, it's okay.
Oh, dude, it's so terrible. It's so gross.
Oh yeah, I've got a little miniature labradoodle,
yeah.
and he's jumped up on me before, and I looked at him, and he's just got cat litter
Yeah.
Oh,
smeared all, like, just smudged in his face
Yeah, dude.
and stuff. I'm like,
That's a
little-
testament to how cute they are.
yeah.
Right.
That you'll still cuddle
Oh
them.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So
all
let him
right.
lick your face. Like, oh, he's kissing
Yeah.
me.
Okay.
It's brutal,
Okay.
man.
At what point do you tell your dog, sit him down, and be like, no one's following you.
Yeah.
You can leave your tracks.
Quitty.
Yeah, dude.
I think the cat poop's just a delicacy. It must be. I don't understand why they do.
Yeah.
Like, it's already covered. You're uncovering it.
Yeah.
You're doing the
It's
opposite.
covered.
You're doing the
pulling it
extra
up.
work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uncovered.
We got an old pup that's on his way out. He's 10. We're probably gonna have to put him down pretty soon. And we were at the vet, which happens. We always know it's gonna happen.
Oh, yeah.
But we were at which we get into it knowing that they're gonna die.
Yeah.
But we were over at the vet the other day, and we were talking about how it's all gonna work, and the vet's like, well, we can, I can come to the house, you don't have to bring him here.
Ah.
And at a certain point, it's like, I'm setting a hit up on my dog.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that.
I'll
As a
throw
Can you
in a
make
little
it
bit
look like an
extra.
axe?
Yeah, if he doesn't know, just he's got this nice tree in the backyard.
Yeah.
sprinkle
Can you
crack on it.
can you cut his brakes when he's trying to drive to all
There's
good?
a very thin line. There.
Cut his
Like,
brakes.
oh look, the vet's coming to visit.
Well, and it's
It's like an episode of The Sopranos.
It's like it's just a matter of like
Jimmy the vet.
And he's like, why are my owners crying?
what's
What?
going on?
This is a weird dynamic.
I mean, dogs only live this long. It's like, how do you know we've killed all of them? We haven't given one a chance to
It's
try to
just
power through and get
natural.
to the next.
Yeah.
They actually lived to 200 years old.
Maybe they get a
Turtles.
second wind at
Yeah,
13.
maybe they're gonna kick.
Yeah,
kick
this
out.
guy's too much trouble.
Hey.
He's gotta go.
Hey, he kicked out at 2. Let's see what happens.
It's good
We've
stuff.
murdered
Also ready, man.
them all.
100% murder rate.
Yeah, 100% murder rate.
Yeah,
Old
I have
Hitman.
I have a bit kind of similar to that of how like if my parents took our dog to the vet, we knew the dog just wasn't coming back.
Yeah, that
Like,
makes
hey
sense.
Dad, where's Sparky? Well, they stopped having a sale on dog food, so
Yeah.
Just say, I'll stop.
Sparky
Wasn't
had
in the
to go.
budget anymore.
He had to
Yeah.
go.
He went to
go.
a farm out in
He
the
went to a
woods.
farm.
Is that the raptor from Jurassic Park?
It is the
Nice.
raptor and the Dilophosaurus and the T-Rex.
That's the
Nice.
raptor from history?
Is that the Godfather?
That is the guy. That's Don Corleone.
Dude.
Let's see where we differ, because mine was like, Mean Gene Okerlund. Wait.
What was your take on The Last Jedi? Did you see it? You guys see it?
I
Last
saw
Jedi?
it.
It's a divisive one.
Yeah. No.
You didn't like it?
No, I didn't like
Okay.
it.
Which part? Which
Um,
where did you lose? Where did it lose you?
The majority of it.
We lost Ben when we started talking about The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
But where,
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a rap.
where did it? Was it?
Oh,
Was it
I
the
didn't know we
astral
were done.
projection or what was it? Luke, it was tough.
The astral projection, that was a lot. Now I'm not gonna lie, I did got a little teary eyed when Yoda came, even though it didn't kind of make sense because Yoda was his master, but Obi-Wan, I don't know. To
Yeah.
me, Obi-Wan would have made more sense.
Yeah.
I hated how my big thing was I was getting super excited for Snoke. I'm like, who is Snoke?
Yeah.
What's Snoke gonna do? All this great stuff, and there's like, nah, we're just gonna end it
Just killed him.
and just kill them all.
That's crazy to me.
Just kill them all. But it was weird because I watched it and I was like, I'm like, no, this was good because I'm like, because it's Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, there's episode 1 and all that, but it's good.
They actually.
And then later on, I was like, I didn't like it. Now I will say this though, I liked it a lot better than Solo. Solo was my least favorite.
They changed their distribution strategy after Solo. They started. They're not doing them every year now because of how Solo was received.
Good.
They're
Wow.
like, we're not.
I also didn't see Solo.
It was good. I enjoyed it.
The only Star Wars movie I've ever seen is The Phantom Menace.
So you are
Actually.
so. And that's the thing, because like there's always this there's these people called psychopaths.
Yes.
And they tell you, if you're gonna watch it, then you got to watch episode 1.
Yeah.
And then 2. No, you watch episode 1, you're gonna want to kill yourself.
That's bad,
Maybe
dude.
that's why. I
It's
What do they
so
call
bad.
that? What do
I
they?
just
There's a
never
way.
got, I never got into it.
What is the order? They call that like the director's order or something like that, or something. There's a way. There's
The special order to watch
Yeah.
it. It's like,
yeah, where you start with the way like the 70s.
My wife was convinced that she'd hate Star Wars. Like I don't like it. I don't get it. Whatever. And everyone's like, well, you got to watch the first one. I'm like, well, don't know. So we watched the original Star Wars, which is I guess episode 4. And he goes, I really like that.
Yeah.
And then watch 5. I like that.
Yeah.
And then watch 6. That was good. And I go, okay, now we can watch all 1. She watched 1. She's like, what is this garbage?
I'm a
I know.
big
I'm like,
Star Wars
power
fan.
through it. Revenge of the Sith. I like Revenge of the Sith.
yeah.
I still haven't watched 2 and 3, like the 90s versions, 2 and 3. I watched the first one with Jar Jar Binks, and I was like, I can't do it, man.
Yeah.
I've seen I watched clips of them. I will say the peak of my nerddom with the new movies was at the end. I thought Rogue One was good.
I liked Rogue One.
Was brilliantly
I liked
done.
Rogue One.
The part at the end where Vader lights the red lightsaber in the hallway, dude. That was to me was the. I want to get a poster like a poster.
Yeah. That was
dope. That was what my 12-year-old brain wanted.
Yeah, that part was amazing. And he's just like force throwing them to the walls and
Yeah,
stuff.
dude. Yeah, pretty good. Peter Cushing was in that one. They
Zing.
brought him back.
And then all the people die. Spoiler alert. It just ruins your childhood.
Then the whale shows up.
The whale
I couldn't
shows
say anything at this point.
up.
Ben's like, yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bruce
Very
Willis
good.
was a ghost. Who
Bruce
would have
Willis
thought?
was he was in the AC shaft the whole time.
All right,
Yeah.
maybe I have seen this.
He's in the
No,
AC.
yeah.
He was a force ghost the whole time. No one could tell.
He was a force
Okay.
They just thought-
Oh,
He
They
saw
just
dead
thought-
people.
Okay.
They just
saw
thought
dead
he was
people.
really blue.
Now, what do you guys have to promote? Anything to promote at all? Get it all out. No shame. Promote
going
away.
on.
February 9th, we're back at Blue Smoke in East Jordan. And then next month, we have Sam Rager, Megan Coddington Heath coming into the studio on the 16th. And then on the 23rd, we have Mike O'Keefe coming in from Chicago for the studio as well. And
you can follow Kamikaze Comedy. To see all
Kamikaze
the
Comedy
places that Ben
on,
and I are gonna be.
Facebook and follow what we're doing.
TraverseCityComedy.com is another good place to see what's going on.
We'll both be competing in the Funniest Person Grand Rapids
right.
contest.
Oh, nice. At Dr. Grins?
Dr.
Nice.
Grins?
Oh, nice.
I'll be there on the 23rd.
Yeah, I'll be there on the 13th
Is this
of February.
February? Okay.
It's
January 23rd and February
13th.
13th. Come out and laugh. We need
So
it.
yeah, follow Kamikaze on Facebook. Look at TraverseCityComedy.com. Follow anything going around in the TC area if you're up that way. I don't know.
Thad Ranger?
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
Thad Ranger.
look at
Follow
Thad
Thad
Ranger. And I'm sure there's other things.
And I'm at Really Zerilli on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah,
If you're interested in that sort
do
of
that.
thing.
Do that too.
Sweet.
So I think that
Sweet. And
about
then we
covers
just
it.
have one show coming up February 8th.
That's at Eats and Crafts, 9 p.m.
Oh, sweet.
That's going to be a specialty show. More details to come later.
Yeah. We do showcases and then we also do specialty shows. So we're trying to do some specialty shows. So look out for that. Check out Pizza and Hummus Presents, and then we occasionally post some stuff on Pizza and Hummus Podcast regarding the shows.
Yeah.
So look out for both of those.
Sweet.
Here we go. Here we go.